That's not an easy question to answer. I guess it depends on your definition of racism. For some people, they'd say it's about power, so racism can only be done by people with power. But if we think it's much more about prejudice behaviour or actions by individuals or by groups, then it can, again, in theory, there can be racism towards white people. There can certainly be racially prejudiced behaviour towards white people. There can be discriminatory behaviour by individuals or individual organisations to white people. We have research evidence that shows in Europe that some white people feel that race discrimination legislation, equality legislation, is to give a special status to minority groups, not to give everyone equal treatment, and to protect everyone from prejudicial behaviour and conduct. So I've done a lot of research with young people in the north of England in areas that are multicultural and often racially tense, and a significant proportion of white young people and their communities feel that say hate crime rules within schools are actually about protecting minority young people, not protecting everyone, and they're implemented in an unfair way. It's always hard to know whether the individual story to which they sort of refer is factually accurate, but we've heard that too many times, and wider white communities feel that this is true. And there's a famous sort of theorem, famous idea within sociology that says if enough people believe something to be true, it's true in its consequences. So significant parts of white communities, not just in Britain but I think in other Western European countries, feel that these sort of laws and these policies are implemented unfairly and are done in a simplistic way to the detriment of white young people. So certainly in Britain we've seen what we call street protest groups, whether you want to call them far right, they're street protest nationalist groups such as the English Defence League and organisations that have come since then, and they've very much tried to connect with feelings in communities of unfairness. The claim that white communities are second-class citizens, and this sort of equality legislation and hate crime legislation privileges and protects minority communities unfairly, that it leads to unfair and unbalanced practices and punishments on a racial basis. So actually anti-racist legislation is now being used in a what they see as a racist manner against white young people because of those unbalanced punishments.